This is the how XR technology realizes ROI in automotive retail. Our speaker today is Richard Armstrong. He's the enterprise architect for Cassini Limited. Take it away, Richard.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to AWE. Hope you're all having an enjoyable morning so far. It's been a packed agenda. So I want to start with today's retail industry is rapidly transforming. There are multiple mediums in which retailers can use to showcase or market their products, from radio and television through to electronic billboards, multimedia and the internet. But most recently, they've also got extended reality as a new medium that they can use. And that is, and I'm sure you all know, is a combination of augmented reality and virtual reality, otherwise also known as spatial computing or immersive technology. It's got lots of names, but we'll be calling it XR in this presentation. However, there are many organisations that are unsure about whether they should invest in XR technology and whether you're going to really get any real returns on their investments. Now, the automotive industry is a great example of how you can use augmented and virtual reality to showcase their products and gain real returns on their investments. They can increase their brand awareness and strengthen customer relationships as well. Most importantly, the automotive industry can demonstrate how they can raise real profits, increase efficiency and reduce operational expenditure in their business by leveraging XR tech. So this brings me to what we're talking about today, is that how XR technology realises the real return on investments in automotive retail. Now, for those of you who don't know me or we haven't met, my name is Richard Armstrong. I'm director of my company Cassini Limited. I'm originally from Melbourne in Australia, as you might have recognised from the accent. I've moved to the UK about 20 years ago, and I live in London in the UK. I've been a technology consultant for around 30 years now, and operate as an enterprise architect and XR strategist, and I help organisations use XR technology in whatever organisation whatever business they may be in, and help them on their journey using immersive tech. And I do that as part of being an enterprise architect. I work in cloud computing and overall large business IT. And most recently, I worked for a large automotive global retailer of BMW cars, and I directed the rollout of a VR platform across all of our BMW retail centres globally. Now, what I'd like to achieve over the next 20 minutes or so is to show you how BMW retailers leverage XR to showcase their vehicles and to realise real true returns on their investment. And this is so that you will understand much better the real business benefits of using XR tech in any marketing strategies that you may be involved in. Now, I want to achieve this in three parts. First of all, to describe how BMW leverage XR to showcase their vehicles. Then I'm going to demonstrate via a real through-the-lens demonstration of some AR and VR experiences that we use in the automotive industry. And finally, I'll be showing you how retailers and manufacturers increase their profits and also help their customers really get that true customer satisfaction. So, virtual reality in the showroom. It's a new concept that hasn't been done before in the automotive industry, but it's something that has some real true benefits. Now, if we look at the showrooms of today, I'm sure you've been in an automotive showroom. They're always quite large rooms. They hold many vehicles in their showroom, but they can never show all of the vehicles that are available. And most importantly, they can't show all of the options and the configurations that you can have for each vehicle. they would never be able to have a showroom large enough to show everything to the customer. They can always say, you have that typical situation where the customer says, well, I like that car, it's a red car, but I want the green one. And they say, well, sorry, we don't have the green car in the showroom. So what they need is a place for using, and this is a great example of using virtual reality instead, to be able to show them all of the different options and configurations that they might have of any particular vehicle. So what do they need to do that? And so BMW in particular were very particular about how they wanted to use VR in their showrooms. First of all, it must be high fidelity. These manufacturers are very picky about how vehicles should be shown in VR. So a Quest 2 was out of the question. That wasn't the right equipment to use. So they used the HTC Vive Pro Eye, which is an eye tracking version of the HTC Vive. They dedicated a particular room in their showroom, within their showroom, to show the vehicles. They put a large screen TV in the showroom so that anyone who wasn't participating in the VR could see what was going on in VR. And there was also a salesperson that had an iPad or a tablet that would help control the experience for the customer. So what did they use? So the Vive Pro Eye is a great product for enterprises because HTC have very good enterprise software for deploying and managing the devices like a proper IoT device. And they're very robust and they have a very good support mechanism, HTC. So that's why they used the Vive. And they wanted to use outside-in tracking, the proper PC-type VR system so that you had accurate tracking. Tracking is very, very important when you're interacting with a vehicle in VR. And also just to get that high fidelity and that fully immersive experience for the customer. So what did the rooms look like? So this was a typical VR room that they had in the retail centres. They left the room, they designed it, they very much thought about how they would design the room. They wouldn't have a door in there, they'd leave it open, they'd have open slats so that anyone who was walking past could see what was going on and might be intrigued as to see what was happening inside the room. And just subtly putting BMW virtual reality in there so customers could see, oh, I wonder what's going on in there, just to and to blend it in with the showroom. And this is what it was like inside the room. Believe it or not, it was just an empty room. A room about the size of a car, about 4 metres by 5 metres in dimensions. They placed just one leather chair on wheels in the middle where the customer could sit inside the car and they would be sitting in the driver's seat or whatever seat in the car. I'll show you that later on the videos. They also had a cabinet there to hide the PC. That's where the PC went. They had to put fans in there for the ventilation because the PC VR gets quite warm. And then they'd have the large screen TV on the wall that allowed the customer's family, normally if they came in with their wife or their husband or whoever, the other person could see the VR experience. As I'm sure you've all seen, when you use VR, you can have a TV screen showing what's going on while the person's immersed in the VR, just so that there's inclusive. So this was the typical sort of what it looks like. This is an example of Audi. Audi do a very similar situation, similar offering as well in their retail centres. But this is where the salesperson would sit there with a tablet or an iPad and be able to have the options there. The customer wouldn't have to do anything. We normally don't give the controllers to the customer or anything because it's normally a completely new experience for them anyway. So we just put their headset on and the salesman does the rest. And as you can see here, the salesman's adjusting the options and of the wheels of the car. And this also gives them, which I'll go into later, that the salesman gets an opportunity to offer options to the customer that they might not have thought of and that they might not have said, well, do I want the 20-inch wheels instead of the 18-inch wheels? So that's the situation. And so what we're going to look at now is a video of the actual through-the-lens experience of the VR experience of BMW's EVE system. It's called Emotional Virtual Engine, they call it. They went with some partners to develop this experience. It's all based on the original CAD drawings of the vehicles. So it's 100% accurate and it's extremely high fidelity video. So what I'm going to show you is how they showcase the vehicles, what environments that they show in the vehicles, and I'll show 3 different models of BMW and 1 model of Mini. Whether you don't know, but BMW own Mini, so that they did the same thing with the Mini car as well. So without further ado, I'll go in. So this is where you select the which model of car that you want to look at. We're looking at this one's the BMW iX, which is actually a brand new car that's is only available from next year. So that's another thing that I'll talk about later, but you can show cars that haven't been manufactured yet. This car's the latest car, and this is in BMW's Welt global showroom in Munich in Germany. And this is show you how they can change the colours of the car, so you can see the reflections, what the car looks like. And here you can interact with the car as well, open the doors, sit inside. The customer can either be standing or sitting down to do that, and then they can look inside the vehicle, and you see it exactly how it is. And also be able to change the options while you're inside the car, so they can see in real time real changes of those options and different combinations of the vehicle. Because when you add up the number of combinations and models in a vehicle, you would need 1,000 different cars in the showroom to show every single combination. Here we jump into the back seat. You can see how much room is in the back seat of the car. It's all in 1-to-1 scale, so it looks actually in real scale to the customer. Again, you can change the options from the back. What does it look like from behind the seats? Also, you notice whenever you look at, and this is the beauty of VR, which I love about VR, is that the closer you look at something, the higher detail you get. So if you want to look at something close within the car, you can see the stitching on the seats, you can see the other things. Now this is where you can change the location of where you want to look at the car. So when you look at a car in the showroom, you only see it in the showroom. You don't see, what does it actually look like when you're outside? When you're out, this is a location, a beautiful location in the Alps in Europe. What does it really look like? And what does the lights look like reflecting off the paintwork? And all of this is done within the VR experience. Again, looking at the different times of day, so looking at what is it like at night time? How does the paint reflect in the night time? How do the lights come up? The lights are always the icons of cars these days, so they're very accentuating how lights look. Now here is looking at the back of the car. How much space have you got in the back of the car? What happens if you fold down the seats and be able to see how much space you've got in the car? All in 1-to-1 scale. And the customer can either interact with this themselves using the controller, or the salesman can do this from his iPad, and he can just tap on different parts of the car from his iPad. Again, now this is going to a different car. This is the 7 Series, which is their luxury saloon car. This is a car that's normally bought by very, very rich people that might well sit in the back of the cars, and they might be more interested to see what is it actually like in the back, because I have my chauffeur who drives me around. So this is the different various options you can get in the long wheelbase 7 Series. With the screens and the consoles and the fridges you can have in the back of the car. Again, you can interact in the same way, jump outside the car. This is back in the BMW headquarters centre in Munich. Again, taking the car outside, looking at the car from different environments and immersing yourself in wherever those environments are. They also have car parks. There's various, I won't go through every single one, but there's various different environments that you can view the car in. And all of this sort of thing you can't do within a showroom. You only get to see a car when you're actually in the showroom, and it's all under perfect lighting and so forth. This gives a whole new experience for the customer. And it gives them that wow factor as well. When customers see VR, because a lot of them have never seen this stuff before, you know, as we know, there's only about 1% of the world has tried VR. So we can really show some new experience for the customer, and it gives them that real, true brand awareness. And it gives them that, makes them more want to know more about the vehicle, know more about the different configurations you can have. This is the convertible, this is the 8 Series. Again, I'll show you how soon it'll show opening up the roof in the car and seeing the back seat, because these cars just don't have any room in the back seat, but you can still see how little room there is, and only really a child could fit in the back of that car. And there you can see the controller there. You can just, you know, choose where you want to sit within the car, interact with the different things. This is opening up the roof of the vehicle. So this just gives a you know, completely unique experience for the customer, and also showing the light. When the roof is off, you get a different type of light coming in the car, and all of that is rendered really well. This is all done, by the way, by an Unreal Engine. This is Unreal Engine development. Same thing again with the Mini. Minis are notorious for options. Minis have hundreds of different options. You can get lots of different paintworks and different stripes on the car and so forth. A normal showroom would never be able to show you the number of all of the options that are available for that particular car. So what they can do is just configure it to exactly the customer's requirements, so the customer can be sure about the options that they've chosen. I don't know whether you've done this before, but when you configure a car, you're never quite sure whether you want that option or not, and if you can't see it, there's not much you can do about it when you click it, or you don't click it when you go through a configurator, that you might regret that you chose that option or you didn't choose that option when you get the car. But by the time you get the car, it's too late. It's not like you can send it back. This is just, I think, finishing off now. But the same sort of thing with Mini. So they do this with all of their different models of cars. So just moving on to the other side of extended reality, and this is augmented reality. And this gives it a completely different experience for the customer. This makes it a much more personalised experience. Using augmented reality, using traditional devices like iPads, iPhones, or any modern smartphone that can understand spatial awareness, you can bring the car that you might want to buy into your own environment. And this is some great different benefits that you get from using AR for automotive retail. So first of all, you can do the same thing, showcase your products, visualise all the different models and configurations and colours and options that you might want in the car, be able to generate a digital twin of that car in whichever environment you might be. And mostly, people like to do it in their home environment. Like, what does it look like in my own driveway? What does the car look like in my street compared to all the other cars that might be in the street? And it gives them a completely new, personalised digital experience for the customer. And it's a great new way of showcasing vehicles. Now, many different brands do this, and Porsche have a great app. I'm not going to be showing the Porsche, I'm showing the BMW today, but they have a really good one. Audi also have an app. These are free apps, and they can use any modern device. It's a much better experience with a tablet than a phone because you've just got the bigger screen. So I'll just quickly go through. This is a through-the-lens experience of BMW's i Series, and this is in my driveway at home, and where I've just put a BMW i8, their electric sports car, in my driveway, and there it is in full one-to-one scale. I'm just holding the iPad. This is just a video from the iPad screen. And again, you can do much the same thing as you can do in VR. Interact with the car, open the doors, look very closely at any particular detail in the car. You get that greater detail the closer you look at stuff, look at objects or configurations in the car. You can see the stitching on the seat. You can see the greatest detail that you'd want to see, and that gives you a really good experience. So I'll just cut that short. I'm sure you've realised what the benefits of that is, but basically the real benefits of using this tech is you can see every model, every configuration, and every option can be experienced by the customer. There's the opportunity for the salesman to upsell options. This is where they can increase their profit margins, because if they sell options like a sunroof or bigger wheels, the automotive industry is like this all over. They make much more profit on options than they do on the base model of the car. They'll sell you the base model car, but they'll only make a small margin on that. But they do make a much bigger margin on wheels, sunroofs, leather seats, all of those sort of options. So it gives the salesman that opportunity to really upsell those options. They can have smaller showrooms as well, because you can, I don't know what's happened there, because the showrooms can be smaller. They only need to have one car in the showroom, and then they can show all the other cars in virtual reality or augmented reality. So that lets retailers spend less money on real estate, and smaller pop-up centres can be provisioned. Like in shopping centres, you might see Tesla, for instance, sometimes do showrooms in shopping centres. This allows them to do that, get more exposure, increase their retail presence. And then also next year's models can be shown. As I showed with the BMW iX, that's not available till next year, but you can experience that in full VR in one-to-one scale before it's been released. And this gives the salesman the opportunity to say, do you want to pre-order that car before it's released and be one of the first to own it? And all of this just gives much greater customer satisfaction. And thank you very much. I'm sorry I've gone a bit over there, but I hope you've enjoyed that. Have we got time for questions?
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, we probably have about 2 to 3 minutes. If anyone would like to ask Richard any questions, please step up to the mic in the middle.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, good, thanks.
Thanks for that. I guess my one question on the sort of ROI is, do you have any specific data on what the actual sort of effect it was or has had on sales, like provable data from various dealerships in terms of the lift they've seen as a result?
Yeah, so with our organisation that I worked for, we started, so what it is, it's an indirect ROI, because we opened new showrooms that were smaller than our old ones. The biggest expenditure in automotive retail is real estate. As you know, car dealerships are huge places, and they spend a lot of money on the buildings and the surrounding real estate. Our newer retail centres were smaller because we could show more in VR and AR than before.
Got it, thanks.
No problem. Great question.
How's it going?
Hiya.
So my father operates a smaller dealership out in Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Have you seen any cases of just trickling in this sort of technology into a smaller dealership rather than kind of like an overhaul approach?
Yeah, well, we put it in. So BMW are trying to put it in every single BMW retail centre.
Right.
So it didn't matter how, it's better in smaller centres, actually. It's actually a better use case to do it in there. So there's no reason why you couldn't do it. They've got a platform that's already managed, like the PC. One thing I forgot to mention is every night the PC goes and checks for updates on the cloud,
Right.
because the automotive manufacturers are constantly changing the options that are available.
Right.
So new renders of the vehicles are being downloaded overnight automatically.
Gotcha.
So that was another thing.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
I have a question about the distribution of the app. Is that possible nowadays to see it like maybe on Oculus Quest? And also you already have the iPad app, so is that?
No, it works on Android as well. They put it on the Android store
awesome,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have a look. Just look up these brands on either store.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, not so good for Oculus. You could only use it with Oculus using the cable. But the Oculus resolution is not good enough or fast enough. And also the refresh rate, we want to always be on 90 hertz all the time. But they're actually looking to go to higher refresh rates because we do not want the customer to get sick. So that's really important. So high fidelity is, even though you have the cord, we had to do cable management for the cords, but it's much better giving them a high fidelity, smooth experience that doesn't make them sick. Yeah, so only Steam VR basically. It ran off
is that
Steam
already
VR
available
engine.
on Steam VR? I'm sorry, I just haven't checked yet.
You can't buy this. This is only for BMW dealerships. But the AR experiences, yes, they're all open. They're on the App Store.
Gotcha,
So,
thank you. Yep.
no problem.
Great presentation, thank you. How close are we to getting inside the car and driving the car?
That's so BMW have done that's a great question. BMW have done some of that in their Welt Center in Germany. So if you ever go to Munich and you go to the BMW headquarters, they've got an actual, it's like a gaming, it's a bit like a gaming rig, and you put the headset on, you've got a steering wheel, you've got pedals, and you can actually drive around a virtual environment. And it's got feedback on the wheels and on the steering wheel and stuff. So that's good, but that's a little way off yet.
Is that coming?
I believe it'll be. Yeah, it's a little bit too difficult to do at the moment, apart from setting up a full gaming rig, and it's more about showing the options and showing what's available. And then what we do is when the customer wants to see what is it really like sitting in the car, we take them to the real car and say, yeah, this is it. Sorry, I know we've
So we're a little over time, but thank you so much, Richard. If anyone has any other questions, please email
contact me.
Richard
I'm on
or-
the app. I'm on the AWE app. So please contact me if you've got any questions.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much.
Richard.
Thank you for listening.
you.